I'm after it. It'll be good for next winter.
Are you organized?
I guess so.
Okay. Yeah, call this meeting to order. Let's
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If we have minutes from previous council meeting.
Francis Fruhan called the meeting to order at 7 p.m. and called for a salute to the flag. Minutes from the March meeting were read and approved on a motion made by Evan Everett and seconded by Rich Galucia. The treasurer's report was read, approved, and held for audit on a motion made by Evan Everett and seconded by Rich Galucia. Correspondence. No Act 14 notices received in March for proposed well pads. Notice received from the county with information regarding a county-enacted burn ban in effect until May 2nd, 2015. The burn ban is also noted on the board outside the fire station. An email was received from WPX advising of the sale of their leases to SWN Energy. Public comment. It was asked if SWN Energy is any more active now that they have the former WPX sites. Everett said he noticed some of the signs have been changed, but otherwise it seems to be just maintenance activities. The township has not received any further information from SWN Energy. There were concerns regarding the number of potholes on roads. It was advised for any state roads, residents should contact the state with locations of the potholes. Francis Fruhan said the tax notices that had already been mailed out had been printed incorrectly. New tax bills have been printed and mailed. John Nagy did an excellent job getting the new notices out quickly. Anyone that has already paid based on the incorrect bills will be reimbursed. Reimbursement to John Nagy for the cost of postage for the new bills was discussed. Francis Fruhan made a motion that John Nagy be reimbursed by the township for the cost of the postage paid to get the corrected bills out, which was approximately $500. And that the township request reimbursement from the county for the postage. Evan Everett seconded, all approved. Evan Everett would like to advertise for bids for the following materials: calcium chloride, Astro number 57, Astro number 8, 2RC, DSA, and 2A, delivered and picked up. Sluice pipes with smooth inside, 12-inch, 15-inch, 18-inch, 24-inch. 300 feet of each, plus or minus. Francis Fruhan made a motion to advertise for the various materials, which Galucia seconded. Evan Everett would like to put the yellow 1990 four-wheel drive Ford plow truck, as well as the 1993 four-wheel drive Ford parts truck out to bid on Auctions International. Evan Everett would also like to put a Stihl chainsaw out to bid on Auctions International. Francis Fruhan made a motion to put the trucks and chainsaw out to bid, which Galucia seconded, all approved. Francis Fruhan read the police report with 14 incidences for the month of March. The full report will be published in the local newspapers. Evan Everett gave the road report. Most of March they were still dealing with snow. Crew has been trying to get some sluice pipes open so water can get through. Hopefully within the next couple of weeks they will be able to sweep the roads. Assessment permits. Jim Reynolds on Quinn Road for a recreational cabin. Driveway permits, none. Francis Fruhan made a motion to pay the bills as submitted. Evan Everett seconded, approved. As no further business was presented, Francis Fruhan made a motion to adjourn the meeting, which Galucia seconded, all approved.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes that you read.
Okay. I'll second that. All in favor? Okay. Sandy, we have the treasurer's report. If anybody has an item, like a question, like after Sandy finishes each budget list or whatever, what would you call it, the budget? Or the,
What, these?
yeah, the various items.
Just first?
Yeah, the various.
For the different funds?
Yeah, for the different funds, yeah, just raise your hand kind of in between, so.
Okay, so I'll hesitate in between. Okay. General, EFTPS, 1,786.28. EFTPS, 1,726.40. EFTPS, 1,845.80. Pennsylvania Department of Revenue, $417.94. Pennsylvania Department of Revenue, $206.09. Those are all payroll taxes. Silver Lake Building Fund, $156.05. Silver Lake Fire Fund, $97.53. Silver Lake Equipment Fund, $9.75. Silver Lake Police Department, $218.47. Silver Lake Equipment Fund, $1,859.45. Chase Card Services, $263.02. Collaborative Electric, $231.89. Frontier, $318.58. Geisinger, $1,629.68. Evan Everett, $1,070.57. Timothy Berg, $1,095.77. Levi Tiffany, $232.16. Betty Brown, $292.39. Timothy Berg, $1,095.77. Evan Everett, $1,070.57. Bernadette Canna, $183.03. Sandra Rosenkrantz, $160.70. Levi Tiffany, $185.53. PAUC Fund, $31.89. Action Fire and Safety, $162.50. Andre and Son, $20 even. Anthony Litwin, $554.16. Bennett Auto Repair, $30 even. Bradco Supply, $506.28. Chase Card Services, $33.98. Cintas, $383.30. FS Lopke, $168.66. Granger, $60.59. L&D Stoneworks, $12,381.04. Little and Nelson, $78 even. Marabito Fuel Group, $1,061.54. Steve Nagy Plumbing, $100 even. Time Shamrock, $17.36. Strakowski Excavation, $1,020 even. Williams Oil and Propane, $1,176.95. Sandra Brink, $400 even. Seth Everett, $1,046.06. Chris Short, $996, 36. Sandra Brink, $400 even. Seth Everett, $1,046.05. Chris Short, $996.36. And that's it. Started with a balance of $148,328.24. Receipts at $8,329.52. Disbursements at $42,543.02, leaving a balance of $114,114.61.
That 17, was that just for advertising?
That's $17? Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Just have a question. What was Stoneworks again? What was the amount?
L&D Stoneworks, $12,381.04.
Can you explain where that went? That's for the
Anti-skid.
what?
Anti-skid.
Material for the roads in the winter.
Oh, for the whole. It's like for a whole period of time.
For the whole winter?
It's for the whole winter.
No, no.
And for how long of a period is that 12,000 different?
That was, I don't know what the dates were from start and stop, but we started buying material in January and we spent more than 12,000 since January. We were, I would say definitely, I didn't let the building get empty, but by the end of January we would have been out of material. Just because of the winter.
So do you find you were using a lot more since last winter compared to last winter?
We used a lot last winter too.
It was
the
bad
last 2 winters have been bad.
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay. State funds, Shenango Supply, $114.88. 5-Star Equipment, $14.61. Hahn Welding, $51.50. L&D Stoneworks, $10,986.55. Montrose Auto Parts, $181.97. Moore's Garage, $100.19. Bradco Supply, $1,729 even. Fleet Pride, $480.12. Granger, $81.94. And Williams Oil, $1,713.26. Started with a balance of $97,928.38. Receipts at 90 cents. Disbursements, $14,976.52, leaving a balance of $82,952.76. Police fund, AT&T, $43.71. Chase Card Services, $123.54. Frontier, $212.11. Bennett's Auto Repair, $169.92. Silver Lake General Fund, $5,296.29. Chase Card Services, $271.54. YIS Cowden, $506 even. Started with a balance of $54,045.02. Receipts at $1,924.73. Disbursements at $7,491.44, leaving a balance of $48,478.31. And building fund.
Any questions on that last fund?
Yeah, you said that was the police fund?
Yes,
So that means what, all those disbursements are connected with the police?
yes. Building fund, Peoples, $1,213.99, and Silver Lake General Fund, $17.80. Started with a balance of $3,972.99. Receipts at $156.08. Disbursements at $1,213.99, leaving a balance of $2,915.08. And that is it.
Okay.
All right,
I'll make a motion that we accept the treasurer's report as read. Yeah, second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay, correspondence, again, no Act 14 notices regarding proposed gas well pads or pipelines received last month. Okay, public comment.
Any news, any more news this month about SWN Energy? Or besides maintenance, anything else that they're doing at these gas sites?
Did we get anything officially in the mail, Sandy? I haven't seen anything, I haven't got an email,
Now, SWN is Southwestern Energy, which is in the eastern part of our county. They have a whole bunch of things going on.
It's a pretty big gas company.
Yeah, right. So nothing new, except maintenance from what you can see.
Well,
And some-
I don't know that, I think Evan said that last.
And then
No.
some of the names have been changed, because I haven't seen that yet. Some of the names have been changed. Did you see SWN on any of the sites?
They had changed some of the signs. I didn't really pay attention to the signs, but
Do you know which ones were changed? 'Cause I haven't seen any.
no idea.
Hmm. And how are the state roads at this point? Are they working on them in our township? Do we have any that are especially a problem, or?
I guess that's not my problem.
But anything that you observed? I mean,
I don't really pay attention to what the state's doing.
no.
Okay, got a bit of business to take care of. Last month we advertised for materials, and these are all bids, and
Yeah. The first thing we'll do is the triaxle dump truck rates. First one is Stony Mountain Tractor Parts for triaxle dump truck, $75 an hour. Second one is Cherkowski Excavating at an hourly rate of $85 an hour. J&G Excavating LLC, they are $100 an hour. Rounds Construction Incorporated, they are $85 an hour.
what size truck are these?
Triaxle.
They all pretty equivalent to
Yeah, they can haul 73,280 pounds, depending on the weight of the truck. Well, that's what they're legal for, depending on what the truck weighs. This is for calcium chloride, Schumberger Salt and Chemical Company Incorporated. Calcium chloride flake, 2,000 pound tote, $439.50. 439.50.
Is there any bid for that, or
Brad Crow should have one right.
this whole stack?
I'll not lose some more. There is calcium, there should be, not calcium, then we'll go to sluice pipe. Calcium chloride super sacks delivered $460 a ton.
And the other one was
No, they're both
both
delivered. Okay, then go to color pipe, 12-inch, 504 per foot, $6.30 for the band,
For the what? Oh,
for the collar.
Okay.
15-inch, $6.65, $8.31. 18-inch, $9.40 a foot, $11.74 for the band. 24-inch, $15.30 a foot, $19.13 for the band. Ray Turner Incorporated, this is the pipe also. $15-inch, $6.38 a foot. 18-inch, 15 was the first one, sorry.
Oh, no, 12-inch.
Dave, it's at the end.
Gotcha.
24-inch, $13.50 a foot, and 12-inch is $4.95 a foot. And they're not the collar type, they have a belt and okay, these are material bids. Fancy. Ashland number 57's $11 a ton, delivered price $17.34 a ton delivered. Ashland number 8's $11 a ton to plant, $17.34 delivered. 2A, $6.25 a ton, $12.59 delivered. 2RC, $6.25, $12.59 delivered. So it's L&D Stoneworks. DSA, $5.25 a ton, $10.50 delivered. 2A, $5 a ton, 10.25 delivered. Number 8's, $8 a ton, 13.50 delivered. Number 57's, $7.25 a ton, 12.25 delivered. 2RC, $4.75 a ton, 9.75 delivered. Crusher dust, $4.50 a ton, 9.50 delivered. Sloppy. Astro number 57s and number 8s, 9.48, 15.48 delivered. 2A and 2RC, 6.48, 11.48 delivered.
This one,
Tri-City Highway Products Incorporated. Ashto number 57, $5, $8.90, 13.90 delivered. Ashto number 8, $9.25, 14.25 delivered. 2A, $7.50, 12.50 delivered. 2RC, $6.50, $11 delivered.
11,
Yes. Okay, that's, yeah, there's an MacNamara one.
This is cute.
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to get into that one.
This is for E2 oil for Township. $1.92 a gallon. As far as I know. Unleaded gasoline. I'm not even gonna read the price at the, I guess I can, there's a price at the plant and then a price delivered, and obviously we're not gonna haul ourselves. But the price at the plant is $1.95.34. Delivered is $2.14 a gallon. On-road diesel is $2.01 a gallon. Delivered, it's $2.20 a gallon. Heating oil, $1.96 a gallon. $2.17 delivered. Okay. That's it.
Anything you want to award?
The only bid that I guess we would like to move forwards and without looking them over, because there was only 2 of them, would be the calcium chloride, which would go to Schumberger Salt.
If you could read those
I gotta find it.
Anything else you wanna review?
Yeah, the rest. Okay. Schlumberger salt and chemical. $439 a tote, $439.50. $400, $439.50 for 2,000 pounds.
50 per ton delivered.
And then Bradco Supply was $460 even delivered.
So everything's like apples to apples, the bids?
Actually, we bought from both places before. The stuff, I believe from Bradco, comes from Finland or something. The stuff from this company, I think, comes from Michigan or Minnesota. It's American product versus, they're both about the same. They do the same job. One's American one, and this one's a little cheaper.
Okay, so you recommend going?
With Schlumberger.
Okay. Well, make a motion and.
I'll make a motion to accept Schlumberger salt and chemical for our flake calcium.
Okay, so $439.50 per ton
Yeah.
delivered. I'll second that. Any questions on that before we vote?
Who's that from Finland?
No, this is, I believe Dow makes it, it's out of Michigan or something. The other one was from Finland, I believe.
Darn. It's a long ways.
How many tons do you go through?
We're, I guess without our salt brine this year, we're planning on, last year we bought 22 ton, this year we're gonna spend about, we're gonna buy about 44 ton. We're trying to, I mean, it's not, the roads call for more than that, but I mean, I think we're gonna get a better result out of that than the salt brine. You know, it's gonna be more money, but the salt brine is harder to get, and this I believe we'll get a better job with.
That's for dust control?
Yes.
Okay, more questions on that before we vote? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay, that's done. All right.
Can we have a question on roads in general?
When Evan does the road report, we got a lot of, some more bids to review and discuss, and
Okay.
we have not been big, yeah. All right, material bids done. All right, those, items we put out on Auctions International, the first would be the yellow 1990 four-wheel drive, plow truck.
Okay, I'll go. The 1990 Ford went for $3,600 even. The 1993 Ford four-wheel drive that we purchased for a parts truck went for $3,150 even. The chainsaw, which was a steel 24 AV, went for $110.01. I guess I'm in favor of for the 1993, the $3,150. Steel chainsaw, I'm in favor for the 110, but the yellow 1990, we had some other townships during the month inquire about it, and I guess we will, my vote is to hold off on that and see if another municipality could use it, whether it's for parts or to use for a backup truck at the $3,600 rate.
Okay.
So I would like to reject the 1990, accept the 93 and the chainsaw.
Okay. So, want you to make a motion to do that then?
Any questions? I'll make a motion to accept the 1993 Ford four-wheel drive for $3,150. I'll make a motion to accept the steel chainsaw for $110.01 and reject the full 1990.
Okay. Okay, with that, I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, now, there's a couple items that we're gonna be putting out this month that we've been having. We had put a hydraulic winch out, we accepted the bid last month. The buyer backed out, so we're gonna re-advertise that again. We also had, advertised a light bar. This will be the third time. We've been paid for it twice. Nobody seems to come and get it, so we're gonna give it another shot. It is, I wish there was more money. The first time, I believe it was around $77. Second time, it's $150, so it should be at least $1,000 this time.
Do you have a clue where these guys are from that are bidding up for?
Not until if they pay for the item, then it tells. I had calls on these dump trucks from Buffalo, Massachusetts, Long Island. I have no idea where the one that we accepted is going, but that's the nice thing about this auction site. It spreads out our, it's a way better advertisement than our local paper. So I would like to put those two items out, and also an old one-way 11-foot snowplow. Any questions? I'll make a motion to advertise those three items
On Auctions International?
on Auctions International.
Okay, I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. All right, you guys want to go plow blades you want to talk about?
We have a plow blade that we had purchased in about 2006. We've had a lot of issues with it. We've been back and forth with the manufacturer. We've done some repairs to it. Finally, it's been a number of years, and the sales rep came, looked at it. They were looking at different ways to correct the problem, and finally is what they did is offered us the value of what we paid for it. And then we will purchase a new plow from them that's, I guess, better suited for the dirt roads, and the difference will be $5,200, and I believe it's $3.95. The only difference in the two plows, we had went from an 11-foot to a 12-foot, which was approximately $1,000 more, just to get a little more coverage on some of our roads. Any questions?
I got some.
Okay.
What's better about this one? Or what's...
It's designed more, it's a bottom, the one that we have now trips, the whole plow blade trips forwards. The one that we're purchasing, the bottom trips only. It is
What's that mean?
the cutting edge will trip, like if you catch, if you caught not that we have a lot of curves, if you caught a curve or a rock or anything, the bottom will trip instead of the whole thing, is what caused, I guess, the failure with the plow that we had. There was a lot of chatter in it as you went down the road, and it was vibrating all the time, which caused it to crack. And so that's what their option was, which it's went on for a long time, so the price of the plows have went up, but I feel that that's very fair.
And you kind of expect it's like an improvement.
No,
so
yeah, it's an
we
improvement
expect
in
to
this,
last a lot
yeah,
longer.
yeah.
Right.
So I'll make a motion to trade our old plow in on this new 12-foot 10-co plow.
Okay, I'll second that. Any questions on that? The plow trade up or trade in or whatever? Okay. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, next item. We have a bad engine in one of the police Tahoes, or problem with the engine. It's drinking oil excessively.
In the year 2008, 9, and 10 of the Chevy 5.3 liter motor, which we have in our Tahoe, they had a issue, which it's out of warranty. There wasn't, I guess, enough of these problems for Chevy to, declare it, you know, where they would change them all, but it's what it was doing. It is using, I don't have an exact figure, but it's using a lot of oil, you know, more than, you know, what it should be in the, you know, the normal oil change period. Fix the problem. It's cost about somewhere between $900 and $1,000. It could correct the problem, but on the Chevy like bulletin, it explains that if it does not fix the problem, then you have to go in and do more extensive motor work. The vehicle has 110,000 miles on it approximately. We've talked with some people. For a police vehicle, there's a lot of idle time. Like if you, which I guess I didn't, you know, think this way in the beginning, but you know, if you figure you do, say the vehicle idles 2 hours a day, Butch, our other supervisor, he brought up to me that, you know, think how far you could go in 2 hours. Say that vehicle sets and idles for 2 hours every day, you know, it could, you know, potentially have well over 200,000 miles on it. And at the rate of spending the $900 and pretty much potentially not having to fix the problem, I think we should move forwards and put a remanufactured motor in, which we have some prices on. The one price we have got is from Bennett's Auto. That's for a Jasper reman engine. Installed is $5,399.89. Dan's Automotive out of Montrose is $6,035. That's for the same, that's for that, the Jasper remanufactured motor. Then we have a price from GM on a GM reman motor. They were $6,450.
Yeah, I talked.
Questions, concerns?
Yeah, I'll just add, I was getting my car and he showed me, Dennis showed me the estimate, and he said it's not like just a sharp block in the old days. You'd get, you know, your bottom in and put everything back on. It comes with pretty much anything bolted on. It's got water pump. What else is that? Injectors.
I'll read.
Yeah.
The Jasper reman engine comes with a 3-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Complete installation kit includes all gaskets, new water pump, complete tune-up kit, new updated valve cover, synthetic oil change, evacuate, recharge AC unit, all other fluids.
It's a no-brainer.
What do you think?
No-brainer.
Replace it? Or?
Yeah.
I mean, I was inclined to let's repair it, but you know.
09.
09.
Yeah, when it runs low like that, I mean, it was drinking so much. I mean, there could have been engine damage. Say it is the equivalent of, maybe we have
But
the
it's
equivalent of 130, and
I think it would be a different story if the vehicle had 20,000 miles on it and we were trying to, you know, prolong it, but having 100,000 and then the additional wear and tear on it, I think.
yeah, and it pukes it. Say the engine pukes it at 20, 30,000, where you
Right.
still have a lot of. Then it's your question: was it worth it to do
Right.
it? You know, so.
Well, I've had quite a bit of work done by Bennett's, and they're really good. Their work is excellent. I can vouch for theirs.
I think that's a more than fair rate from them.
So we
That
could
includes
be
labor, right?
That includes labor. The motor, the reman motor itself's 3,600. You know, and then there's, you know, the synthetic oil change, the air conditioning, and then the complete installation gets $475. It's $1,050 in labor. And I mean, potentially if they ran into something else in there, other seals or something, it could potentially go a little over that, but that was the estimates we received from all three of them.
So we should be pretty good for like nickel and dime things like thermostats, water pumps.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
we
that
should be
all
good for a while. Is it a 3-year warranty?
3-year, 100,000.
How long do you expect to keep the car? You know, you buy a lot of oil for $6,000.
It's burnt, no, it's doing way more than that. It doesn't smoke because, and the way it was explained to me, the catalytic converters on them do a excellent job, you know, making them burn clean, so it's burning the oil off. But eventually it would, I think it has 2 or 3 converters, oxygen sensors, so on. And if you just keep dumping oil in it, though you're gonna have issues there, and obviously the motor, the Dan's in Montrose, the way he had explained it, it's not so much when the vehicle is running down the road, it's in the initial startup, it dumps, like, he used the term of shot glass, like every time you start it when it's cold, there's the new, like, update, this $900 repair that you could do. There's a guard that keeps it from, it's a new oil pan gasket and a couple different, guards and so on to try to prevent this. But again, that would be in a perfect situation on a 20,000-mile motor,
Yeah, it's not like a quarter to every oil change, it's big, I mean, like 5+.
It's, you don't make an oil change and you're using 5 quarts, 5, 6 quarts.
Yeah.
Gotta get fresh oil.
But yeah, you just change the filter. But you do not see the vehicle smoking. It's just using the oil excessively, but it's not smoking.
I mean, I think we run it till it starts getting, the undercarriage is getting rusty or
Right.
rusty.
The undercarriage is in pretty good
The
shape.
motors will outlast the bodies, so we're talking about years or miles,
Well, when you bought those, what did they cost?
That one was 38,000 roughly. The 2010 was 40,000.
And they're more now. If you
Oh,
were gonna
oh,
replace it,
sure,
they're
I'm
way
sure.
more now,
Yeah.
I'm
sure.
Any opinions? Any more?
Darned if you do and darned if you don't.
Well,
I'll make a motion to accept Bennett's Auto Repairs estimate of $53.99
okay.
and 89 cents.
Okay. I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Good. Any other new business or, you want to say you had something to
The bids for the drill commission.
Right, police report, there are 19 incidents for the month of April. I'll leave it out here, post up there after the meeting. Road report, anything?
We've started our normal road maintenance, grading, adding material to the roads that we still have some water issues where I would say there's not frost in the ground still, but there's water coming out still and the spots are soft. Any questions?
What's your schedule, like which roads are you focusing on the most at this point?
Wherever it lets us, wherever Mother Nature lets us go. If the road gets ready to grade, if you take Pop's Hobby right across it today, it's not ready to grade. It's got,
Yeah, Pop's Hobby is really bad.
Yeah, we had a bad winter.
Is that one of the worst roads you have?
Close, there's other ones, there's spots, yeah, Pop's Hobby, it's got a 4 sub base, there's one section in particular, and it just, the ground draws the water in, it freezes, and, it's done that, for a lot of years where I've looked at, probably that would be the next road we put in for dirt gravel road drain on if it qualified high enough. Try to repair that so it doesn't do it.
So what are you planning to do now for this summer? Will you just grade it and?
Yeah, let it dry out and then grade it like they have for the last 100 years.
And what about drainage? Are you doing anything with drainage on that road?
No.
Hmm.
Kind of flat, there's not really a lot of locations to get drainage. Whether we get grant money or we do it out of pocket, we'll raise the road up with quarry rubble, get up out of the freeze thaw zone, and that'll let the water drain and we'll solve our problems.
Do you know when you'll be done with that road? As far as grading, do you have it on schedule?
When it dries out and we can get to it, we'll get on it.
So right
Trying
now,
to-
it's not dried out enough?
No. We did go across it, we repaired some of the spots, but if you try to grade sections that have the frost heap coming out and there's pumping still going on, you just end up back fixing the problem again, that will run the roller over it. There'll be ruts after, you know, we aren't gaining.
Have you had complaints from the people on that road, the residents?
No. Anybody that I've talked to that's been here for any amount of time, they will thank you for how good the road is compared to what it used to be.
Yeah. A lot of springs on that road.
Yeah. Well, it's not really springs, so it's the type of soil. I mean, there are springs in certain spots, but the spot I'm talking about, it's shaded, and it takes a long time for it to dry out. I mean, I guess people, you know, other than the people on the road, you know, if they use that road to get from point A to point B, they don't drive on it, you know, that's.
Yeah, I drove on it, I was surprised how bad it was. Now, if there's shaded areas, is there any way of like cutting back on some of those trees so they can get dried out better?
Well, yeah, I guess you could cut back some of the trees, but it's still, there's a 4 subbase there.
Mm.
We can rebuild the road, leave the trees there, and it'll be, you know, it'll be fixed. It's just a matter of, you know, getting the material and then qualifying either for a grant or spending, you know, Act 13 money or whatever, you know, we decide on. Any other questions?
Okay, thanks. Assessment permits, none. Driveway permits, none. Okay, anything else? Okay, make a motion to pay the bills.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Francis, can I make a comment first?
Sure.
About 2 weeks ago, my neighbors, Lagories, have a kennel on their property, and they had 2 Maltese pups in the kennel, and a rabid raccoon went over a 6-foot fence, went over a second 6-foot fence, and bit the dog 46 times.
Mm.
So the dog turned out to be rabid. The wife took the dog to a vet, but she just grabbed the dog, and so now she's got to go through the shots, and it's $10,000 for the shots. And Broome County apparently reimburses those who may or may not have insurance, but Susquehanna County doesn't. And so these poor people are stuck. They're in a world of hurt, and I don't know if some kind of a motion could be made to discuss this with Susquehanna County, but I mean, I don't understand why it's $10,000. It seems to be an outrageous amount of money. And they're administered by the health department, which is another thing that I didn't understand. I thought you would go to the hospital and get them, but it's the health department. And this happened on a Thursday night. They were notified Saturday that the raccoon was rabid, and there was nobody in the health department to help them. Now, you got 10 days to get these shots started or you die. It's guaranteed. So I talked to Chief Berg, and he said that's the 5th or 6th incident since the fall in Silver Lake Township. And I guess Pat Brady, there was 3 to 5 people were bitten by a rabid fox in the fall at Quaker Lake there. So it seems to me to be an inordinate issue that should be addressed within Susquehanna County somehow.
Is it, the health department, that's state, do they have county health departments? Like
Yeah, there's a
our
county health department in Susquehanna County, just like there's the health department in Broome County. Now, she ended up going to Broome County to have the shots given because she couldn't get anybody in Montrose to respond, which is another pretty bad deal as far as I was concerned.
Have you been to the commissioners meeting?
No, I haven't, but I think, you know, that'd be a good tack, because, you know, everybody could probably afford $1,000, but 10,000, that would break just about anybody around here, so I would like to do that, yeah.
You're thinking of attending?
Yeah, I will.
I'd like to answer that.
I would just like to add to that, I was down front on Gee Road planting trees. There very definitely was a rabid porcupine going around in circles on the road.
Huh.
Went down in the ditch in circles, up on the bank, it kept going in circles. By the time I got to the house and got my gun and got back down there, he was gone. But very definitely, this was during the daylight hours. And it was just like tumbling over and going in circles. So that's sounds like it's a real concern around here.
Okay.
I don't know if there's
Definitely
any
try
way
to get in the minutes, anybody that
Yeah, I
looks
don't,
so that people knows there's, I guess.
it would be even a good thing if there was some way to put a bulletin out to township residents, because I didn't hear anything about this, and I'm around here every day. And so if there's I don't know if there's a way to do that, but I think it'd be a worthy venture.
How about contacting the paper, either both of the papers?
Yeah,
I mean, I've been reading, at least I read one of them, I haven't seen anything about it.
yeah,
Increased incidents.
that's a pretty good idea too.
Now, what road is this rabbit
Kennedy,
on Kennedy? They
but
had
it was a
trouble?
Quaker too.
Quaker and Kennedy?
Yeah.
And from what I understand, there is no health department any longer in our county. It was closed. Several areas have been
That's why I
closed.
didn't answer the phone.
That's why they're not answering the phone, because
Yeah.
it's been closed now for a couple of years.
Huh.
So we don't have that. So
I
these
thought a
people,
volunteer was gonna take care of that.
so these people have no insurance then?
I don't know what their situation is, but they chose to go to New York because.
Yeah, because there's nothing here, that's the thing. So is there a possibility that we could use like Act 13 money or something to help
I
out
don't-
with rabbit?
I would not think that, I'd just like to get some information and maybe,
A real threat to that.
if you could get back to me when you
Kids.
talk to the county, and
I don't know.
if I call the papers, I'll try to find a contact, and do you mind if I just ask them to contact you? Do you
Yeah.
mind that? Because
Yeah, no,
I don't know much about it other than what you're telling me, so. All right,
okay.
thanks for bringing that up. Okay. All right, what? Motion to adjourn?
They actually took the raccoons.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
And they tested them, and then they called them, but that was the end of their responsibility.
Somebody else.
Different
Yikes.
kinds of rabies.
But they decided to jack the price up to $50 a month.
Goes off in the woods and
And
dies.
that's
Or the new one spent.
more than I want to spend to do the township website.